Hello there, how are you doing? So it's apparently, according to the Gregorian calendar, then it is Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve, and all is still in the house. Nothing is stirring, not even a mouse. So remember that cartoon, the old Tom and Jerry, before they all got crazy and they banned it for being too violent, like Tom and Jerry cartoon, too violent. But they'll you know, have all these computer games for children where they can destroy and murder and kill everything, which is much more fun than a cartoon about cat and a mouse, I suppose. And then also teach them when they go to school all about how to have anal sex and the sex education. Very nice, yeah, much preferable to a Tom and Jerry cartoon about a cat and a mouse being crazy. But there you go. But it is Christmas Eve for the date of it, you know. So I just thought, I haven't done any videos for a while because everything has been very crazy, very busy. You see that old building in that's a pub behind me there where them boats are. They used to have a huge big hall, seating hall for the De Laval family. All got knocked down, I think about like 60-70 years ago. But they used to like own all of this land here. They actually came over in the ships along with William in 1066, and the hall is still over there. So it's a little bit chilly, so I'm wrapped up here. Might put my hood up in a while when the wind picks up, but I just thought I'd get out for, well, I've been out this morning already with the dogs, you know, but yeah, it's a nice Christmas Eve. So I don't really celebrate or anything like that, you know. It's a Sunday anyway, isn't it, tomorrow? So we're gonna have a Sunday dinner, just normal. We certainly don't have a turkey. But I was just talking to somebody there, just organising an event for I think April, down south somewhere, for a course to do with living in the private and private trusts. So a couple of weeks ago we did the all day course online for that type of thing, living in a private and private trust and everything associated with it. Now when we're actually doing it, it was all about the creation of the paperwork, but it's a big job. So as we're doing the course, I'll watch it get a bit slippy in the mud here, going down into the woods. Yeah, and then once you actually start getting into the topics, you know, it does get sort of like bigger and bigger a job trying to explain everything to everyone, you know. So that was on the 10th of December, and then after that we have to get by these little dogs.
A nice view of your walk.
Yeah, exactly.
Happy Christmas.
Yeah, same to you. See you later. Bye. Yeah. But so that was on the 10th of December, and I did like that all day course, 7 or 8 hours, can't remember, but long. And then after that I thought, we can't get through everything, so we set up the Telegram group private just for the people who had attended. And then also I've done 2 other webinars since then, just to continue with the work, you know, which we need to do. And I'm doing another one next Friday, just to keep going and helping the people complete it. Now all of this is going to culminate, is a big word for me, in a members area that I'm busy creating now, that I'm going to let them all go in and have a test with. Okay, and it's all going to be about living in a private and private trusts. So we're going to then offer it out, you know, to others once we've actually completed it. A lot of good rave reviews so far. So, you know, and we'll keep going until everybody is as happy as possible, and then we'll start allowing other people to come along and try it. So a lot to come in 2023, although that's obviously not really the year, is it? Okay, we'll follow the Gregorian calendar because that's just what, you know, the Western world anyway agree upon. But there's many other different calendars from different cultures, and we know that our history is what they show us and tell us is complete baloney, you know. Anyway, hang on, little tricky bit, and swap your hands, slippy going down these slopes. Oh. But you know, that's what we're going to actually be doing, getting that set up for everyone, and you know, keep building on the knowledge share of it about how to live in the private as a man or a woman. Oh, little duckies over there. And then protecting all of your assets in private trusts, etc. But also on the commercial side with private members associations, the PMAs. You know, let's go over here. Actually, I might turn this around. This is the tide must be coming in now. Look at this. So this is tidal. So if it's quite high, it can. You know, if you look at it there. So sometimes this is completely empty or virtually empty. You know, and then you get down where you can see those little boats before the bridge. There's an ambulance crossing over the bridge, myocarditis van. You can walk across the river that way on the estuary when the tide's right out. And it's lovely, isn't it? And then going up there, look, it's quite still quite a lot of people out. Yeah, turn that back. There we are. Well, not a bad day. You know, not a bad day for the end of December. Gonna walk into January, yeah? If you believe in that calendar, anyway. But, you know, I hope that yourselves have had a decent enough 12 months, if you want to call it that, and that you're going to have a prosperous next 12, which would, you know, be easier to do if you were protecting your assets and looking after all of your property, your private property, living in the private. So I think that's something that you need to concentrate on. So when we're doing these courses, part of the course, which what I was saying, I think the tide's just turned there. Literally the stream is now running the opposite way to what it was just before. It literally must have just turned there, just on that second there. Anyway, so when we're doing the private trust documentation, the way that we actually create it, we create it for I a man, I a woman, standing and living in the private. But we also actually put our public hat on, which I was showing them last night. I had my baseball caps on, my private one and my public one, showing them. And when we put our public hat on, what we do is we actually use the government's documentation, and we can change, depending on if you have a mortgage or not, the land registry, which is obviously the government forms, alright, to put it into the name of the trust, create a legal fiction, because it has to be a legal fiction. You know, you can't put I am Anne on the government forms, it has to be a legal fiction. But you can create a different legal fiction. It doesn't have to be your name in capitals, it can be a different legal fiction, which is what we create, and we put that into the trust name, and then the trust then is the one that is on the land registry, not your legal fiction. So if anyone is going to attack you, i.e. you know, whatever it would be, could be the council if you've been fighting them, not wanting to pay the council tax, the bailiffs linked to the council, or even just, I'm walking up steps here, that's why I'm puffing and panting, going right to the top of the Dean. But you know what they're going to do is they're going to try and take your assets, so they need to see where your legal fiction is, because that's all they can take, things that your legal fiction are attached to. And if your legal fiction isn't attached to, say, your home, then they can't attack it. That makes sense? So we need to get that legal fiction removed. It's nice up here. So that's what we do. We can actually do it, you know, with a depend. If you haven't got a mortgage, you can do it with the TR1 and the AP one, and obviously you have to fill in the ID one to make sure that you. It's actually funny that it's something like evidence of a citizen, something like that, is with the full name of the form. Quite funny that we use it to show us we're not a citizen. But on top of that, though, if we also need to do an RX one, and when you're doing the RX one, you can do that with or without a mortgage. You know, you should do it even if you haven't got a mortgage, because it protects all of your equity. It puts a ring fence around your equity. And RX is a restriction, goes on the land registry. And if it's an island, I can't remember what they're called now, a caution or something like that. It's different names that they have, but they definitely exist. And it also exists, you know, in the other countries, because we've had a look, you know, like in Canada and the United States and Australia as well. They're just slightly different names for them. And we also use, you know, at the same time, what they call like, well, in the UK it's called a lasting power of attorney. I think of a lot of other countries call it an enduring power of attorney, which helps, you know, protect your assets or your health and body if you end up going into hospital. You know, for many a time we're dealing with people that have been, their relatives have got put onto a do not resuscitate list, you know, without being told, and then they find it out. Now you can avoid any of that if you have your lasting power of attorney. Again, that's a public form. If it's in the UK, it goes on the Office of the Public Guardian, which is a government website, part of the government website, but it's based in Birmingham. So all these courses that we've been doing have been like teaching people and showing them how to actually correctly do these forms. You know, but on the asset protection side as well, it's all tied together. So obviously we do the private trust, which we're doing private language, talking about private law, and then which is in a different jurisdiction. So it's, you know, some people say, oh, you need to register your trust with the HMRC because now you have to register trust. No, you don't. You have to register a statutory trust, but you don't register a private trust which is created in a different jurisdiction. It's all about jurisdiction. So a private trust is not in the same jurisdiction as a HMRC or a statutory trust for that matter. So it does not get registered. However, the clever thing is, by the way we actually write out the RX1, then you can kind of get the private trust acknowledged, let's just call it acknowledged rather than registered, on the government website, on the land registry. So, hang on. Some little hooligans have bought a wheelie bin up here and set fire to it. Beautiful place up here, you know, these idiots do not appreciate the fact of nature or nature's creator and what we actually have here, how fantastic all of this is. Look at it around me. It's amazing. So lucky. And they do daft things like that. But anyway, yeah, so we can actually, if you do it correctly and write it correctly, there's and you put the RX1 in correctly, then you can kind of register your private trust with the land registry. It's not really getting registered, so don't panic. And it's not, you know, oh, you said it's private, now it's not, it's public. It's still private, but we're actually getting it acknowledged that there is a trust in place through the RX1, and the restriction and the trustees of the trust now have possessory title of your equity, we'll call it, but you know, of the actual title, slippy here, title in the land registry, you know. So it's kind of, let's just say, belt and braces, isn't it? So you've got your private trust, however you've now actually got it acknowledged publicly by the land registry. Ooh, this is really up high, going over a little offshoot of the stream. It was pouring with rain all day yesterday and all night last night, and it's been thundering down here. That's probably why it's so high as well. When we were out this morning, it was very rough pouring down, going down these little stream bits. Yeah, so and I've still got, like, next week I've got like that other webinar that I'm going to do to help keep people going from that course that we did, which was that full day course. And then once we've actually got it all smoothed over and running nicely, then we'll offer that out to others that want to help themselves, protect themselves from old Klaus, Satan Klaus. Yeah, the old Satan Klaus that wants you to own nothing and be happy. Well, I would rather own nothing but control everything. That would make me happy, so that I do own nothing. I don't, actually, I don't own anything. My name isn't on anything. It's quite humorous, you know. The other day, a couple of weeks ago, I had this guy on a Saturday. This is a Saturday today, and he was on the I just walked out of the door, I was going for a walk, and he knocked on the door very, very quietly. And I went, oh, how can I help you? And he says, oh, I've just stuck it through the letterbox. I went, all right, stuck what through the letterbox? And he says, oh, it's just from the council, because we don't know who lives here. We haven't got any record of who's here. Right? Oh no, okay. So I don't think you'll really be getting to know that either. And he walked off, silly little smug, stupid grin on his face. And then, not long after that, I gets this, oh, I didn't get it, but comes through the post, and I can tell what it is because I've seen them before. It looks like there's a cheque inside. Now, it's got my legal fiction on the front of this little envelope thing. and it says turn over for instructions to open, and you turn it over and then you can see it's perforated. It says tear along the perforated line to open. So it looks like a check. I don't know, you know, if anyone can remember, we used to get gyro checks like that, you know, for refunds and stuff like that, or even if you were on the dole years and years ago. So you know, I think it's trying to trick you to like think, oh, I've got a check, I want to open it and see what it's like, see if it's money for me, and it turns out to be them giving you a penalty notice. So I know I tell people all the time, don't do like return to sender, deal with things, but this is slightly different. So it's definitely not me, because it's a legal fiction, it's a corporation. So there's no corporation by that name here. Return to sender, RTS, PTO, RTS, and highlighted their address, the return address. They must have wanted it back, mustn't they? Or else I wouldn't have put a return address on it, do you think? So I sent them it back anyway. I tried to help them out. But I don't normally do that, but I thought I'm going to have a bit of fun with them. This is the weird thing, because he actually said on there that they didn't have any details of who, you know, was living in that house, and then they actually posted it to a legal fiction name. So why are they sending it to that legal fiction when they don't know who's there? Very weird, isn't it? But you see, this is the thing with these penalty charge notices. On there, no one, if you look back at the Bill of Rights 1688, still valid on the government website today. It's not, oh, it's an old law. No. Right, two things: the Coronation Oath Act 1688, and also the Bill of Rights 1688, and the Settlement Act 1700. You want to read all of them, you know, and on there it states, okay, that you will not allowed to be punished, okay, if there has or not been a trial and that you haven't been found guilty of something. So how does that fit with these PCNs then, or these fixed penalty notices, or any of that? You know, because you haven't been found guilty of anything, they cannot fine you. Alright, it is illegal in their world. Okay, so you need to check that. So so if they're sending out those fines, then they're breaking their own acts and statutes. They are committing a criminal offence, because that's what it is. It can't be a crime, because, you know, there's no one harmed, unless I got robbed by having to pay for my legal fiction. That would be a crime. However, it is a criminal offence when you break a rule, and that's what they're doing, breaking their own rules. But they're hoping that you don't know, because you don't know what's what. So at the same time, another thing that I don't usually do, I don't really get speeding fines, you know, and I don't really use the car much anymore, to be honest, since I gave the gym to our son to run. But I don't really get parking fines either, or parking notices. But I was having some reflexology, you know. It's nice, really relaxing. And so it takes about an hour or so for this reflexology, and it was like on this main street, and there's no parking. So yeah, I had got dropped off, and then Janine goes up to the local supermarket car park to wait for me, you know. So by's a bye anyway. So the other day I get this bit of paper comes through, and it says, right, to the Willstaff Private Trust. Oh, interesting. So I opens it up, and there's this thing saying there's a photograph of the car going into the car park and a photograph of the car going out of the car park, and it's saying you were on, I think it's UK parking, something like that, UK PC or something. But anyway, and it says you were parked, or you were using our clients, right? Our clients, very important term that, private land. So they wanted, apparently we were allowed an hour. And she was on for an hour and 12 minutes. So for 12 minutes they wanted £100. Yeah, that's extortion if you've ever heard of it, isn't it? Ridiculous. Now normally I can't be bothered with things like this, but I saw the cheek of it. But the interesting thing, like I said when I was reading it, was like our client, you used our client's private land. So now, well, that then makes it completely, if it's their client, then they are the agent, and the client, who is the co-op, is the principal. So they're acting on behalf of the principal. So what I want to know is, when I wrote to them, said, oh, thank you, very interesting, could you please provide the contract between Wilstaff Private Trust and your client. See, it's taking it away from them. They've admitted they are only acting on behalf of their client. So I want to know, climb over this little fence here, where the contract is between that private trust and their client. This is quite funny as well, because like I was talking to somebody from the group on that very week. It was the week it would have been the week before that I had actually received this thing through the post, getting sent to that address, and I had literally just changed the address, right, and registered the car. The car's in the private trust name anyway. They said we haven't got any name, but changed the address the week before. Obviously on the crossover period it's going to go to there. Now when I wrote to them, I have the registered address, and it is registered, the private trust, you know, at the situs, which is hundreds of miles away from, you know, where we live here, from here. So it'll be interesting to see how that works. But you know, have a look at those notices that come through, these what they call a parking charge notice. Try and make it look like a fine to do. Alright, just remember that. So, and I also wrote, you know, so can you also tell me that give me proof by a living witness that can state that the car actually used the facility, because all you can see is a photograph of it going in and a photograph of it going out. They've got no living proof that anything happened. Now also in there as well is a car wash. So you could go, and it's one of them spray, you know, you pick the spray thing up yourself, you put your coins in and you spray it, and then you scrub it with one of their brushes, and then you hose it all down again, you know what I mean? So you end up getting more wet than the car. But and I just put, you know, can I have a living witness that the vehicle did not enter into that area to use the car wash, didn't go into the car park. Makes no sense. There's also a fuel station there as well. How do they know it didn't go in the fuel station? Although I didn't actually state that, I was just stated the car wash. You know, so the two things: have you got a witness, a living witness that can state, you know, if you go to court, what you're going to say? I've got a photograph. That's not proving anything. you know, you have to prove a claim. I said I'd be more than happy to pay that, no problem, upon proof of claim. So where is the witness to say that they actually parked the vehicle parked and used the facility, because it's just got a photograph of it going in and out, and also that it wasn't in there using the car wash? You know, that could easily take, if you're allowed an hour, that could easily take half an hour, and then you park up for half an hour, you know, so you're only using half an hour of their private land of your client, you know. So I don't know, I'm not bothered, but it'd be nice to actually go to court, wouldn't it? I would quite look forward to that. Go to court as the power of attorney for the legal fiction, although it's not a legal fiction because it actually just says private trust. And I would say, well, you know, as trustee of the private trust, I'm here on behalf. Please provide the witness, the living witness, to say they used the facility. Let's hope that happens. Be interesting. Talking about court, so I was in court, Crown Court, the other day, Monday, and we were fortunate enough to have the case adjourned. Now, I won't say names or anything like that, but the guy that who was whose case it was, he had the prosecution dump on him, like, you know, piles and piles and piles of evidence. Their what did they call it? Skeleton argument, I think they called it. You know, on the Thursday, and this is like a Crown Court case. This is a big case, and you know, we're in court on the Monday, 10:30. So, you know, he contacted them and said, well, can I have some more time so I can actually study this before we go in to the court? And they went, no, you're doing it. So, interesting. So in we went, and I tell you, the judge, right, it was fair. The judge was a good guy, okay, no matter what anybody says. You know, this guy seemed to be very fair, and you know, I'm not going to say names or details or anything because it's private, but it's a COVID case, and part of the evidence that we says we want to put in is old Matt Wancock going on the TV. I never watch TV, but obviously you get sent video clips where he's stating, I broke no law. There was no law. It was simply guidance. Very interesting. So the judge was like, yeah, no, I think we should. And so we were allowed, and the judge allowed us to create a summons for Matt Hancock. All very interesting. Now, during the investigation that I was doing, getting ready for it, you know, they love their words and their Latin phrases and everything like that. So I have to put a notice forward soon. I'm going to send it to the guy involved in it, and I'm going to say, look, this is what I believe. So we are going to put in a notice for a summons for 2 people that I want to bring along. One of them is, you know, old Matty, dirty little, you know, adulterer that he is, committing adultery in public, you know, and then that's fine. They used to stone people to death for adultery, did you know that? But anyway, so we're going to bring that adulterous little scumbag in, alright, Medazolam Matt. And it's not just going to be, see, that nobody knows this yet, but I'm not just going to be saying, look, you know, come on then, tell us that it wasn't a crime. So if it's not a crime, then this guy, you know, didn't commit a crime neither. And by the way, just to put it into context, so Midazolam Matt's pal, old Doris, and Fishy Rishi, who's now Prime Minister, isn't he? I think. Right, both of them and a few others, they all got a £50 fine. Didn't they get a £50 fine for doing whatever it is, Partygate and all that nonsense? So this guy that I'm talking about, if we top up all of the actual fines and the costs, is going to be somewhere in the region of £80,000. That's 80,000. £80,000. And they get a £50 fine. So, you know, what I'm going to be doing is doing the summons. I'm going to do the notice, request the presence of a man, Matthew Hancock. I'll find out if he's got any middle names, who at times acts as Midazolam Matt. And I'm going to summon them to prove the government's committed ultra vires. So they were quite keen on saying that this guy was ultra vires for stepping outside. What it means is you were doing something outside of your authority. You didn't have the authority to do that. Ultra vires. They use it, you know, for cases when they want to try and scam people into things. So I'm going to be summing in Midazolam Matt for saying, well, I'll tell you what then, we believe that you have committed ultra vires because you had no authority, or no government had any authority to close anything down, because you had no proof that this so-called virus existed. I don't know if I'm allowed to say these words on YouTube, but so we know that nothing got isolated. We know that there was no postulates, so we know that they've got no proof whatsoever that anybody caught the virus, was infected by anything like that, or died. So they did not have the authority to do what they did. That's ultra vires. That's what I'm going to summon him for. That's what I'm going to actually attack him with. That's quite a big case, really. That'll be interesting, won't it? And we're also going to summon Lord Sumption. He used to be Chief Lord Justice, I do believe, but very high up anyway. And we're going to summon him as well for very similar things, because he is also of the belief that the government had no authority to do what they did. And he's a very powerful man, is Lord Sumption. So it's the kind of man that people will have to listen to when they give evidence. So that's the two summonses that I'm going to be creating, and we're going to put out for this court case, which we've had adjourned until the end of March. So, you know, if anybody's got any suggestions or connections with anyone who knows a bit more about ultra vires, then send them my way, because it's going to be an interesting time. We can literally get the government into court, kind of like sideways on, because it's not really them, but we can bring them into court for breaking the law. It's getting dark now. Look, you see behind me the sun's going over the horizon. You know, the flat one. I heard today that there's a lot of documents that have been released by the CIA and NASA, basically admitting that the Earth can only operate on a flat, solid basis without spinning or being round. Isn't that interesting? And at the same time, all these leaks coming out from Russia that there's massive civilizations beyond the Antarctic. Interesting times indeed. Yes, bit fresh. I've enjoyed the walk out there though. I've got some calls I have to do. Christmas Eve, and I've still got some calls to do. Some ooh, look at the waves smashing up there. That looks good, apart from if you were standing next to it. That wouldn't be good. Get soaking. Oof, dear me. My arm's getting better. I still can't carry anything or pick anything up or do any training or weights or anything. But I haven't got the sling on because I'm not a Klingon. But I just thought I would touch base, have a chat. Haven't been on for ages, just so busy with everything that's been going on. That court case, like I was telling you, got my own stuff that I'm trying to actually crack on with as well, which is the Eon stuff as well. I'm still fighting them. Now I've got the council. I thought I'd got rid of that, but I'm fighting them again. All good, interesting stuff. Getting ready for a new year. It's going to be 2024 before you know it, isn't it? Like all this going on. I don't know if you can hear the waves crashing in the background. Very noisy, lovely, massive waves coming in. The sun going down over there, going beyond the flat horizon. Very nice. Can't believe it's, you know, I don't celebrate anything anyway, but it just seems very weird that it would be a Christmas Eve. I've never really got it, you know. I always thought something was wrong on Christmas. I think this is a bit weird, everybody doing these things, and I just don't feel anything whatsoever. But it takes all kinds, I suppose. Tell you what, I should turn that around and let you see. So, drop it, that looks quite good. Lots of people out. You see the waves are crashing up against the rocks, crashing into, that's the harbour entrance over there, the little white buildings, and then coming out. It's a bit grey. I had a bit of sunshine. I got my charger up to 50% today on with the solar panels. Trying to move them around with my shoulder was killing me the other day, but I am getting stronger, like with it there, move it a bit more, look. Yeah. Oof. Okay then. Should have checked the time, shouldn't I? I have to be back for some phone calls, getting ready for, I've got more presentations to get ready as well for what I'm doing, you know, creating these trust courses. But it's not just the trust, like I say, it's all working on the public forms as well, with the Office of the Public Guardian and the land registry, you know. So it's very, very important. It's the amount of people that don't realise that you can do these things, that you do, you know, these people, you know, it's a shame that you're not meant to know, though, are you? You're not meant to know any of these things that are there to protect your legal fictions. And you can protect your legal fiction. You have to protect your legal fiction just as much as you have to protect you as being the man or woman. And if you're protecting your legal fiction, it makes it easier for you to stand as a man. You can go and dip in and out of public and private all the time. I've said it for years now. You know, and it is what it is, you know. That's how you can use like the public forms, like the lasting power of attorney from the Office of Public Guardian, to protect your legal fiction. Because if you went into hospital and were unconscious, it won't make any difference if you're standing as a man or a woman, because you can't speak. So you need your power of attorney to speak for you, and they need to follow the guidelines that are written out on your living will and your lasting power of attorney, what it says there that your wishes are and your instructions are, and they have to follow it. Whew. And they have to follow it for the property and finance, as well as for your health and wellness. So the health and wellness one, obviously, if you go into hospital. But you know, everybody now, like, it seems to be getting all of these diseases like dementia and everything like this. Whoa, there's a big wave crashing in, and getting stuck in homes. And when you get stuck in a home, the next thing that you know, that old people's home that stinks of piss and shit, and it does. I've been in a couple there where we had to visit, and it's absolutely disgusting. You know, they lock you in a little room and charge you £4 a week, and then they sell your house to pay for the care. Huh? So you can stop that by creating a private trust and having your property proper to eye, your private property that belongs to you, the man or the woman. Well, you can stop them selling it. You can stop them stealing your house. And it's the same, you know. I'm not telling anyone to not pay council tax or anything like that. I'm not saying that whatsoever. But if you were fighting the council for some reason, and then they turn around and actually put like charges on your house without you knowing it, which is why you want to get those property alerts from the land registry. It's just free. You can just contact them and get it set up, the property alert, so if anybody makes any inquiries, they'll tell you straight away, so you know you can start fighting them. You can stop them if you get it done in time. But you also put your RX1 and a restriction on, and nobody can touch the property, and do it correctly so that it's not your legal fiction, you know. And that's what we're doing. We're assisting people on the private, yes, but also on the public, which needs to be done. Wow, this is 40 odd minutes now walking around. I've really enjoyed the walk out, mind. You know, I love going out with the dogs, but now and again it's just nice and refreshing to be out on your own and going and having a look at the woods, and then having a look along at the sea. Okay, so I will wish everyone a good evening. If you are celebrating, then enjoy. Each to their own. I would never put my business in anyone else's business. Alright, I wish you all the best for everything that you want, and enjoy the day if you're celebrating the day. I mean, I've actually got, you know, a bottle of champagne that we're gonna have with our dinner. It's just gonna be a normal Sunday dinner. I think Janine's going to try and make some pastry, vegan pastry, and you know, it'll be made up of a big pastry pie thing with mushrooms and stuff, you know, all tasty though, all good. And she's going to try and make some Yorkshire puddings as well, vegan Yorkshire puddings. But it'll all be good fun, and then we'll have a glass of champagne, and no doubt 2 or 3 sort of like pale ale beverages for me as well. But all good fun. So next month, I was reading this this book. It's all about sugar detox, which I'm going to do in January for at least the month, which means no beer. Ooh. So I'm going to do it for the month, no sugar. And I like these little the vegan ones, but these little jelly sweets as well, so I can't have any of them. I don't have tea, I mean sugar in tea or coffee or anything like that. But there's a lot of foods that you don't realise. I don't eat much bread, but there's a lot of sugar in bread as well. So not having any bread and not having any beer, okay, or sweets or anything like that. So I'm going to, for a month, doing a sugar fast thing, kind of thing, like a detox thing. And I've got some of these natural herbs that completely detoxes your body. Mavis gave me them, so I'm going to try them as well. And we've got the I smashed me jug, me water jug, the distiller. I smashed the jug. I don't think I smashed it, it just broke. But it smashed when I picked it up, and all the water poured all over me. So I've just got another one yesterday, a replacement. So I'm gonna, you got to have it in distilled water, and you put these herbal things in the distilled water. It's all natural, but it detoxes and cleanses everything. It doesn't matter if you've got like really badly treated stuff, whatever, I don't know, and it cleans it out. But then it's going to be a whole month of detoxing, feel lovely and healthy. and then crack on with fighting the cabal. Yes, and fighting this evil system, the legal society, the legislation. Okay, so the good thing is that we can discover which bits of it are good for us and we can use, but they're never going to allow us to truly use it because they are just so evil themselves. But we're going to use their own rules against them, using ultra vires for proving the government didn't have the authority to close down all the gyms like they did, or all the businesses. And also, okay, we're going to use, we've got another witness that they're refusing to allow to come in to that court case because it'll prove that everything was done above board and that there was no mens rea, which means that there was no criminal intent. It wasn't intended to commit a criminal offence. So we can prove that as well, mens rea, as well as the ultra vires. So very interesting times. Let's shoot off now. I'm going to come up to the road, this one here. It's really busy and it'll be noisy anyway. Noisier than the waves, I think. So as I just said, it's getting very nice now, very nice sky. It's just getting dark. I don't know, it'll probably be about another half an hour. I think it'll be very dark. So if you are having Christmas, enjoy it, look after yourselves, and I will see you soon. Take care, everyone.